What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video. And today, continuing the NFC South, is the New Orleans Saints off-season and mock draft. Of course, if you guys like any other teams in this division, all the videos will probably be up by the time you're watching this. I'll be probably doing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers next, if not. But of course, if you guys like mock drafts, feel free to stay, be able to like, comment, subscribe, because we're trying to get to 4K by draft day, and it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. We're on pace to definitely beat that number, so very excited. Hopefully you guys are willing to stick along and join the Discord. If you guys want to join a football community, we have over 120 people there. Feel free to DM me there as well in the comment section. Feel free to comment, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff down in the description below. Let's kick this off because you guys want to get to that mock draft as well. So let's start off by talking about these key offseason departures. So I don't know how the hell you guys are really under the cap. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 71 million, and there's just no way I can feasibly see freeing up 70 million. I know that there's a way to continue stretching contracts, this and that. There's a certain point to where that becomes impossible. And when you have guys like Teron Armstead, where when I first initially made this, I totally forgot about how much was guaranteed to Michael Thomas. That makes it rough, because I was like, well, if he's in trade talks, then maybe that cap will be able to be good enough to re-sign him, because he's a stud. He's an all-star left tackle. But yeah, I mean, I love Teron Armstead. I think he's a phenomenal player. It sucks that you can't bring him back. Marcus Williams is going to drive up the price as well. This is the big one. Everybody's thinking Jameis Winston can come back for like $7 million. I don't know if that's true, especially with a lot of quarterback needy teams. I look at the team like the Steelers, and I guess I just spoiled it, but he's somebody who I think that fits perfectly with what they're looking for. And on like a short 1-year contract for maybe 10 million there versus maybe somehow freeing up 7 million here, which you need to free up 78 million to erase the 71 dead cap. It's insane. It makes more sense for you guys, especially in a quarterback deep class where you can probably get someone in the second. Hint, hint. You can probably go from there. Also, you guys have probably already seen what the thumbnail looks like. Traquan Smith, just a guy who's been he's been a consistent guy. Nothing that I would say is a real key departure. Shy Tuttle as well, good contributor. But yeah, we got some potential trades and cuts. And Michael Thomas, I heard you're not going to trade him. So just want to put it in here because some rumors did pop around. I know that they've been dismissed. Just there for fun. Malcolm Jenkins is on a pretty hefty contract. Same thing with Bradley Roby. That's a way to be able to free up, I think, close to 25 million right there. So we'll see. Alvin Kamara, obviously, the case for like battering some dude who's trying to get into an elevator is not officially over, if I'm not mistaken. Again, by the time you guys are watching this, it probably is. But it's just another way that you can potentially see these guys on the move. And we got some offseason targets, just 2 guys, because, again, you don't have the cap space to do it. But Preston Williams bringing in a second wide receiver if you keep Michael Thomas. He's just a young developmental guy. And Kalen Ballage, just a really good power back. I think, I forget, there was a running back that left this team, but getting a true power back like Kalen Ballage would be a really good situational dude. Think of him similar to the way Latavius Murray was for this team. So that's going to end off that portion of the video. You guys are, of course, here probably for the mock draft. So see you there. Welcome in, everybody. It is time for the mock draft. Without further ado, ain't no need for any more introductions into this old jazz. Let's start it. Let's have a good time. Make sure the sound's off so we don't hear all that ring-a-ling-a-ling, because y'all know how irritated it makes me when we hear all those sounds with all the calls coming in for the picks. If you guys are new, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, because we do mock drafts all the time. Obviously, after free agency, going to have to update it again. But for now, it's pretty fun. We're just attaching this as the little off-season video. And unfortunately, there are some huge positions that we need to address. And I am going to take full advantage of the draft board, because if you guys can see, there are quarterbacks worth taking for this team that are going to be there in the second round. And that's going to be a big plus. Versus, we can look at offensive. Ouch. Whew, okay. I was hoping that we get some better luck here. Bottom line is, we're stuck. Like, there's no going around it. We are stuck in this position. It's Matt Corral, Sam Howell, or Jameson Williams. And the bottom line is I might want to go with a true number one wide receiver. We don't know what it's going to be like for Michael Thomas to come back. Offensive line is such a need. This is probably the worst case scenario. And if you are in a worst case scenario, go best player available. That's always what I got to say. If we're going to say, hey, we're going to go Matt Corral over Sam Howell here, I understand that, but you might be missing out on somebody who you kind of know Jameson Williams is going to fit into a certain mold. Garrett Wilson's going to fit into a certain mold. I don't know if Garrett Wilson's going to be that much different from what you'd have in Michael Thomas. I know that Jameson Williams will add a new nice deep threat to where if you do get a quarterback with a strong arm, it'll be a very big plus. And again, this is going to be the first year without Sean Payton. Getting somebody who can get that fan base excited when we're 70 million under the cap, having a hard time retaining guys, that is going to be exactly what we need to do. Jameson Williams out of Alabama, just an absolutely dynamic, explosive, very fun wide receiver. Talk about the ACL tear. That's the only reason he's available for you. So be appreciative of the fact that he got hurt and that we're also in an era where coming back from an ACL isn't that terrible. We'll talk about Odell Beckham Jr. one day and having 2 ACL tears. That's going to be a little bit tough. But we saw even Odell coming back and bouncing back and having a phenomenal year. So very excited to see how JMO comes back because, again, he is an elite wide receiver out there in space, and he has just improved tenfold. Very excited to see his progression. Praying that we can get a very high-end quarterback here. We very well might. So let's see what's going to happen. Sam Howell's on the board. I don't think we can pass on him. Bernhard Raimann definitely should be in the consideration here. And it kind of sucks. But, I mean, again, we have seen time and time again that the best value is to go after a quarterback and see what happens. Offensive line is huge. I just don't have faith in Bernhard Raimann. I just don't. And unfortunately, maybe fortunately, you get someone like Braxton Jones later on, Kelton Dyche, which I think we've already done for this division. So it's tough because I do want to get Bernhard Raimann for this team. I just don't trust him, and he needs development. And this is a team that I'd much rather develop Sam Howell, who has a lot of positives, and he will be good in a year or two, versus Raimann, who I don't even know if he will be good. Sam Howell has a lot of really elite traits. Raimann did not look good for many reps at the Senior Bowl. He had like 2 really positive reps. And if you guys are looking at Twitter, you'll see the people who absolutely love Bernhard Raimann, PFF. And then there's a couple others post the 1 or 2 snaps out of the entire week that he did well. It just, you guys gotta like put in your submissions to be virtual media access, because you can't trust the filtration system of these people who are scouts, because they're just going to show you exactly what they want you to see rather than what the truth is. And I don't care about being wrong. So that's why I want to give you guys the actual truth. And I expect you guys to do the same to me. If you see a little bit of a disconnect with what I'm saying, call me out on it. Do it respectfully, because again, I'm trying to learn here rather than just try to bullshit. But I mean, there is a legitimate lack of integrity in this industry, and it needs to be called out. So, I mean, you know who you are if you're in this industry and spreading bullshit. But again, it's like, I don't really understand why people do that in the first place. Of course, if we could get Carson Strong here, that would have been amazing. He's not going to be here for one. I'm also not going to take him. I will look at Braxton Jones in a little bit. He had some bad reps too, though. He did. Safety wise, I'm definitely looking at someone like Nick Cross as a big contributor on this roster, somebody who could take over for Marcus Williams is. He's going to be developmental, but he has that Jeremy Chin upside for this roster, and he's not exactly the right mold to fit, but he is probably the best player available on the board. Looking at the edge players, I'm not vibing. Linebacker, I can't see it be that big of an issue. I really can't, to where I'd be going Leo Chenal here. Just not something I'd be targeting immediately. Like safety, I would definitely rather target over that. Offensive line, Spencer Burford also played tackle. So this is somebody who could play guard or tackle in this scheme. I don't think that 295, that's the best idea. I would consider Tolbert, but again, we've already done that, and I brought it up. I was like, ooh, like every single division is going to be drafting Tolbert. That's the way it's going to roll. But running back, it's it really depends on what Alvin Kamara's situation is. I haven't been able to look up into it any recently, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be perfectly fine. Like, I don't think that, if DeAndre Baker gets out after being pretty much caught arming somebody with a weapon, pretty sure that Alvin Kamara will be fine. So yeah, this one is going to be, wow, I just totally lost him. Nick Cross out of Maryland. Again, a developmental safety, but somebody who's hyper athletic, has a lot to offer. And in a division where you're seeing Jeremy Chin, this is a very good counter to that. If you can't join them, then beat them. It's like kind of like reversing it. Wait, no, if you can't beat them, then join them. You can't beat Jeremy Chin, so join Jeremy Chin with your own version of Nick Cross. Now, at this point, man, I'm still trying to find a good spot to go after Braxton Jones. Because, again, he does have some positives. I just don't think he's worth a round 4 pick. Like, that's my opinion. And wide receiver-wise, though, I would actually look at another one. Like, call me crazy, but I don't think that's a terrible idea. It's just a really tough spot to be because there's so many things that we should be going after. And, you just can't address all of it. And we don't have the cap to address it either. That's the biggest issue in my eyes, is that. So Jesse Luketa could be an interesting linebacker edge prospect if you guys want to pick up somebody in this zone. I would just say, man, it's a tough spot. I'm actually going to go probably after a wide receiver here. And I'm going to go after Justin Ross out of Clemson. I'm trying to think if I've done that for another team in this division. I don't think so. Regardless, if I did, I just really think Justin Ross is good value at the beginning of round 4. He's the guy who should have been a top 15 pick before that neck surgery and everything. And if he's able to continue recouping his old self, a 4th round pick ain't too shabby at all, especially for a team now that has Jameson Williams as well as Michael Thomas, hopefully. I could see Michael Thomas getting traded, but someone brought up an amazing point, and that was, oh, by the way, we're going to go Max Mitchell here. I don't care. We're going to take the shot on it. But regardless, he is going to have a big cap hit. I didn't realize that it was a 5-year deal, and it's like something like 5 years, and he has like 19 or something on average a year, but he has like 60 million in terms of guaranteed. So it's really rough. It's pretty much just a very rough deal for us in general, the Saints. So yeah, he's not going to get cut. Or, I mean, the only way he'd be traded is if the team agreed to take on his hard cap or like his guaranteed money, which I don't know if you could kind of like make a deal to where that's possible, but if you can, that's gonna be great. Actually, right here, I'm gonna go Dominique Robinson on Miami, Ohio. Just a freak athlete who just shows a lot a lot to love. And I think that he's honestly an amazing round 5 target. Rotational edge rusher, sure, but when you add him into the fray, I don't know how much longer you're going to keep the rotation that you do have. So it's definitely somebody where, under the situation that Cam Jordan wants to retire, maybe in a year or 2 or 3, or he wants to get traded somewhere, you have an option of somebody who's developing and has a lot of athleticism. Perfect spot for him to grow and develop as well. So let's see what continues to happen here. Like, I wanted to do the Saints video second because this is a team where I don't want a bunch of players already being taken and kind of making it like, well, shoot, we've already, like, these guys fell to this position, but we can't take them. So yeah, I wanted to make sure you guys got a good draft in here. The Buccaneers, you guys have had enough love, so Buccaneers are probably going to be the ones who get the last pick out of this division, because also I do kind of like the Panthers. I do. And the Panthers and the Steelers are going to have unique videos because I'm going to have to do a mock with a quarterback and one without. At this point, I might go Neal Farrell Jr. here. Somebody that continued bolstering the inside in the 6th round. That's not a bad idea. He had some very good one-on-one reps. So getting somebody who has shown the ability to be an offensive guard and center in a one-on-one is probably a good idea to get in round 6. Developmental pass rusher. Probably won't make the roster after his first contract. And I don't know if he makes the 53, but definitely somebody who could. I liked what I saw from him. And let's see who's still on the board. So we could, of course, get another running back, because I think this draft actually has some very good ones at the end of it. And to be honest, I might do it anyways. We're going to do it. I think that Ty Chandler is an excellent running back to have situationally to grow behind Alvin Kamara. Just, again, somebody to take some reps off Alvin, be able to make sure he's there for the long run. because I'm pretty sure there's been some injuries that have come up with Kamara. So it's a good spot to just take a guy, say, hey, take your shot, be able to have somebody who can just step in for a rep or two, have Kamara get his breath, and then come back in when he feels comfortable doing so. So that's going to be the draft, guys. And we got Jameson Williams, Sam Howell, Nick Cross. Like, we got some legitimate starters to replace. So, and we got Max Mitchell. He's somebody who I had originally in the second round. Sure, he's going to be having to move to left tackle, and that might be very weird. But I think that having him on the roster might very well be the best thing this team could ask for. He's going to be better than what you guys already have. I think you guys might have like Throckmorton in there. I think out of Oregon like a couple years ago. But I think Max Mitchell has that upside to where you can develop him into a starter. You know, I think that he very well might be put as a backup for his entire career. But at this spot, 136, that is an absolute steal. Dominique Robinson speaks for himself, just an absolute speed rusher who has a ton of upside, and he can take a couple of reps off from other starters to keep him healthy. And we all know health is a huge factor as the season goes on. Neal Farrell, Ty Chandler, both guys who have shown out in their all-star weeks. So that's going to be the video, guys. Let me know what you guys would have done, where you would have gone at each pick, and why. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the far side. Peace.